Hi, welcome back to Rebel Health. I am Dr. Ellen Vora, a holistic psychiatrist based in New York City and currently in Nelson, New Zealand. And I just want to talk about this concept of fearing food. I sort of operate in this space of alternative, integrative health, and there's a lot of fear of food in that space. And I'm probably responsible even for making a lot of people fear food because I am meeting with patients who are suffering from symptoms of chronic inflammatory conditions, and they're saying, "Doc, how can I feel better?" And I'm often the one in the position to say, "Have you tried eliminating such and such inflammatory food from your diet?" And the beautiful thing is that someone often will go eliminate, say, gluten or dairy or industrially processed vegetable oils, and they'll come back a month later and they'll say, "Wow, I feel so much better. Who knew the food had anything to do with how I feel?" And so that's great, hooray. But then what also happens is that people then start to navigate their lives afraid of food, especially if there are intentional or unintentional slip-ups. Like if you've been eating gluten-free and feeling better, and you do this for a few months, and then you're at a dinner party or a wedding or a restaurant and you get glutened, as in like there was gluten in the food you ate, you didn't really realize that, and then suddenly you feel precipitously bad, like you start to have bloating or diarrhea, or you get cold sores, or a migraine or brain fog, or all these things that people can experience with gluten. And then they start to go around the world really sort of afraid of food. And that has really negative impacts on life. Like you start to decline invitations to dinner parties. You don't go out to dinner with your friends. Or you're at a wedding and you're sort of having a freak out. It's like, okay, maybe I'll just drink instead of eat. Or all these different ways that people start to dance with their fear of food. And so I think we really need to look at this issue and figure out ways for people to balance treating themselves and feeding themselves from a place of self-love. Like if there's food out there that your body doesn't agree with, then avoiding that whenever you can. But at the same time recognizing that sometimes it's going to happen and sometimes you have to roll with it, and recognizing that sometimes those symptoms it causes, they're going to be really bad and then they're going to be gone in 24 or 48 hours. So even just rolling with it when it happens. Or even occasionally selecting choices to say, this is a time I want to eat gluten or dairy or sugar or vegetable oils because I choose to in a proactive and self-loving way, because say your friend made you dinner and it's a beautiful dinner and it has all these ingredients, but it's an act of love and you're sharing in this experience. And that's really kind of the stuff that life is about, more than even just a perfect, optimal health. And so I just want to encourage people to kind of really dance with these choices around food. Yes, do the elimination diets. Identify and recognize what foods you're eating that are really kind of hurting your body. And once you are armed with that information, you can make more proactive choices. For the most part, those choices are going to be to avoid the foods that hurt your body. But sometimes the choice is to eat the foods that you know hurt your body because it's the act of self-love in that moment. And when it happens, when you choose to do it, or if it happened accidentally, roll with it and don't be so afraid. I think of it as like an oil spill in an ocean. It's a big royal mess, but at the end of the day, the ocean is vast and has a system for working through this oil spill. So I hope that's helpful. We'll see you next time on Rebel Health.